When you don't get that early goal and they're sitting deep, Lebanon will get belief. So they're going to want to keep the Aussies as quiet as possible for as long as possible to frustrate them and build into the game and with confidence.
Lebanon not without threats of their own, Broski. They've got Matuk, they've got Omar, both quick, both up front. The Aussies will have to be mindful of those counter-attacks.
Of course, that rest defence, Arnie will be on to his defenders and midfielders all game. Even though we have most of the ball and most of the attack, he'll be on to our defenders about keeping an eye on their threats and making sure that they don't get the ball when we turn it over, but also pressing high. You know, that's a big key in the way that Graham Arnold plays and his teams play, that as soon as we lose the ball, we don't give them the option to play out. So no doubt we'll see a lot of that and a real high-tempo game from the boys.
No missteps for Graham Arnold's side so far through qualifying. What do we see in this one tonight, Luke?
No, look, I think we see a high tempo. Obviously, the Aussies back at home here in front of the home crowd. Arnie's going to want to see the boys go out, be positive, be aggressive, and he's shown that in his selection, having the two up top, so we look forward to a high-tempo game.
How does it play out, Broski?
Look, exactly like that. I think it will get a fast start. It may be a set piece, but I think with the quality we've got going forward, I think the boys will start well and get a couple goals tonight. Perfect
football conditions this evening and a great crowd in for this game. The Aussies' record at home is impressive. They've lost just one of their last 26 World Cup qualifiers on home soil. There's been 3 previous meetings between the Socceroos and Lebanon. The Socceroos won both of the previous meetings 3-0. Can they replicate that tonight? Let's pause now for the national anthems of both nations before you hear from your commentary team tonight, Simon Hill and Andy Harper.
For those who are able, would you please be upstanding for the national anthem of Lebanon? Please remain upstanding for the national anthem of Australia.
Well, 48 days since their Asian Cup campaign ended in disappointment. The Socceroos climb back on the horse to continue what we hope will be a gallop towards the World Cup in 2026. 2 wins from 2 have put the Australians in a great position in Group I. On paper, a double-header against Lebanon should make it 4 from 4. But as we also saw at the Asian Cup, Lebanon will provide the sort of opposition the Socceroos don't much enjoy playing against. The Cedars don't score too many goals, but they don't concede too many either. And they'll be cheered on by a solid contingent of expats from the large diaspora in this country. It's only the third ever meeting between the two nations. Australia have won both the previous fixtures by 3-0, but patience may be the key this evening. Graham Arnold missing some of his regulars. Martin Boyle is unavailable, as is Bajic, Craig Goodwin and Marco Tilio all out as well. So there are 4 changes from the side that lost to South Korea at the Asian Cup. As is Bajic, Martin Boyle as mentioned, and Craig Goodwin all unavailable, while Mitch Duke drops to the bench. Cameron Burgess partners Harry Sutar, with Kai Roll shifted to left back. Riley McGree returns in midfield, and there's a new twin strike force in the shape of Kusini Yangi and Adam Taggart, who wins his first cap since September 2022. Aidan Frustic is back on the bench. Tom Glover, Pat Yazbek, John Iredale, all awaiting their debuts. Our referee tonight is Kamis Almari from Qatar, the 39-year-old who was on duty at the recent Asian Cup finals in his home country. Matt Ryan and Hassan Matuk, the 2 national team captains. Both players the most experienced on show for their respective countries tonight, and Lebanon are missing 6 of their mainstays from the Asian Cup. Qasim Al-Zain and Jihad Ayoub are both suspended. Hussein Zain, Hilal El-Helway, Robert Melki and Sunny Saad are all absent as well. But veteran Hassan Matuk, as you've seen, is here to lead the team, as is Basel Girardi, who scored their only goal in Qatar against Tajikistan. They, along with AFC Wimbledon's Omar Shaban, means there's plenty of attacking threat. And former Central Coast Mariners junior Jackson Corey is on the bench, awaiting his international debut. Mild temperatures, and the surface looks good as well in Parramatta. There's Graham Arnold, who's been on the warpath again regarding a home for the Socceroos this week. They've trained for this match at a rugby league facility. Tonight, at least, they do have home advantage. And his opposite number, Miodrag Radulovic, the Montenegrin coach of Lebanon. It's his second spell with the Cedars. He was in his first spell when his team lost 3-0 to the Socceroos at Stadium Australia back in 2018. So a quiet moment before battle commences. Lebanon know they are outsiders tonight. All the expectations on the Socceroos. But Radulovic is a smart coach, and must be remembered they were within 20 minutes of qualifying for the round of 16 at the Asian Cup before 2 late goals for Tajikistan knocked them out. So it'll be an intense battle in the technical zone, and a big puff out of the cheeks from Graham Arnold. He knows that the pressure is all on his side this evening. Lights, camera, action. Step 3 towards the World Cup in North America in 2026. A night when the Socceroos perhaps have a chance to prove they can find solutions to defensively minded opposition. Andy Harper.
Very good evening, Simon, and to everybody watching. Australian men's national team go about their World Cup qualifying paces here in Parramatta. Lebanon will be sticky customers and do pose a threat. Australia understandably heavily favoured to win this game, and if they can match up the points tonight and Tuesday, one would expect they can plan for the next stage of qualifying.
Yeah, this of course a double header. Sabra is the Lebanese player down. Adam Taggart, to fancy, was the man who charged into his back. Might not have played tonight, but for all those absentees, they are particularly shorn of defensive talents, especially the 2 Melki brothers, Robert and Alex. And those 2 suspensions that I mentioned as well, Qasim Al-Zain in particular is a regular in their back three, or a back five, if you want to put it that way. Here's big Harry Sutar back on the ground where, of course, he tore his ACL against Saudi Arabia in the goalless straw a couple of years ago. That's a loose one from Keanu Bacchus, but Riley McGree has kept it in play. Kai Rolls playing left back, a role he has played before for the national team. Played there against Mexico and England. Clip ball over the top, and Taggart was asking for a foul. The referee was well positioned and said nothing doing. And this is Hassan Matukas. Lebanon look to spring forward, and there'll be a big roar from the stands whenever they do. That's a foul on Ali Tanish. Well, a hefty kick too from his Socceroo opponent.
So Taggart goes down in the box. There's a little bit of an elbow in the back, whether it's a coming together of the players or the referee thinks it's not enough.
Yeah, there's a nudge, isn't there? There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Riley McGree just sticking his boot in on Tanesh. And that little transition from Lebanon, just an early indication that Australia need to be very mindful as they're pushing forward.
Walid Shaw's free kick is straight at Matt Ryan, winning his 92nd cap tonight. Closing in on Brett Emerton on the all-time list, who is the next man above him on 95. Harry Sutar. Riley McGree had gone early, but Lebanon have got a high defensive line as they look to squeeze the pitch. Now they will drop a little deeper. Put forward by Keanu Bacchus. Easily fended off though by Mahir Sabra, none the worse for his early injury scare. And Burgess to bring it forward for the green and gold. Into a little pocket of space for Conor Metcalf. He's hopeful of promotion to the top league in Germany with his club side St. Pauli, who Jackson Irvine, who's on the ball here, also plays for, of course. Currently top of that league by 5 points. That one goes astray from Rolls. But given straight back to the Socceroos by Hassan Sroor and Bacchus. And Bacchus has curled one in at the ground where he made his name with Western Sydney Wanderers. Did he mean it? I don't think anyone cares. It's his first international goal, and it's a priceless early lead for the Socceroos.
Well, bizarrely for Bacchus, his first 2 touches on the ball were very wayward. And whether this was a cross or a shot, I don't think it's going to really matter, not to him at all. Mustafa Matar in the Lebanon goal, all at sea as that ball is floated across. And you'd have to think that the first instinct is to try and find Cassini Yengi, but it matters not for Bacchus and for Australia, and he's happy to hear the cheer of the crowd, and why not?
Well, what a great moment for Keanu Bacchus. Intentional or not, they all count. And the home of the club, where he spent 6 years at the outset of his career before moving overseas with St Mirren. And if there were any nerves for Australia tonight, that will certainly settle them down. Here's Yengi, another one playing at the home of his former club, but he's overrun that one. And it's a goal kick for Lebanon.
Well, Lebanon coming into this game, the main thing that they were wanting to do, to state the obvious, is just to frustrate and hang on as long as they can, grow into the game, and just get under Australia's skin. And that goal has double the impact, I guess, given its nature and the timing.
Well, it's exactly what Australia wanted. Sent forward by Nassar for Lebanon. One in the air by Rolls. Now Irvine. Socceroos getting busily about their work. Came off Yangi last. And a bit more urgency on the Lebanon bench. Although, to be fair, Miodrag Radulovic is normally like that. Certainly was throughout the Asian Cup. They've got a big task in front of them now. Metcalf unable to break that challenge. And a little indication perhaps of the nervousness of Maher Sabra there. Wasn't quite willing to play it back to his goalkeeper.
Not exactly, Simon. 2 draws for Lebanon through the first 2 games, including, surprisingly, from what we've seen, drawing against Bangladesh. I mean, that has to be a flesh wound, really, in your aspirations. And realistically, looking at this group, all teams involved would be expecting Australia to safely secure one of the 2 qualifying spots for the next stage, which really should mean it's a hot race for second place.
McGree felt he was bundled over by Ali Tanish. 1 or 2 boos from the home support. Dribbles out of play for a Lebanon throw. Lebanon winless in their last 4 internationals, during which time they've scored just the 1 goal. They are not regular troublers of the scoreboard. Off the head of Rolls. Tied up by Hassan Straw, but it won't stick for Omar Shaban. This is Bacchus. And Australia just a little bit too quick for the Cedars at the moment. Here's Nathaniel Atkinson. Burgess, who made just the 1 start at the Asian Cup in the 1-0 win over Syria. Punched out wide by Bacchus for Atkinson. Back through Sutar. And Burgess again. Leaves it for Rolls. Wide left is Irvine. Beyond him is Metcalf. Early delivery towards the near post. Lebanon managed to deal with that, for now at least, but they've given it away. Irvine's cross. Adam Taggart looking to turn and shoot. Instead he plays in Atkinson. The ricochet will favour Bacchus here again, who's in the mood.
Well, the ball set up nicely for him. Excellent movement across the front line by the Sampali pair, but here's the effort as it eventuated. Set up so nicely for him, and then his eyes lighting up on that last occasion because of this one, which is what separates the teams in this World Cup qualifier.
His first international goal in his 18th appearance. He scored the once for his club side St Mirren in the Scottish Premier League this season. A bit of space for Metcalf to advance into. Links up with Yangi. It's good interchange play by the Socceroos, but Atkinson has to settle for a throw.
Yeah, Conor Metcalf is moving really impressively at the moment. That was a nice sequence by the Socceroos.
Just about managing to find the right angle. Back to Burgess. Sutar looking for the switch, and it's a peach to pick out McGree, who shapes one way then the other. I think he confused himself in the end. And Nassar showing he's got a trick or 2 as well. And that's clever from Omar Shaban, and the ball's still alive for Lebanon. There's a man over on the left if they can switch it. Shaban, all wrapped up by Rolls. There was a little bit of contact, but I think he was looking for it.
Well, he's squared up to Kai Rolls twice, not in any aggressive sense, but in a contest for the ball. And Kai Rolls has knocked him over both times. That time, on that occasion, the eyes of the referee are legally so. But Shaban is a big bruising type of player. And you think, well, I might not take on Harry Sutar, but I'd fancy myself against Kai Rolls. Was 0 for 2. so far.
Is Hassan Matuk, Lebanon's all-time leading appearance maker with 120 tonight and 23 goals as well. Bit of space here for Nassar. And Lebanon have a corner, which will please their large contingent of fans in the stands.
That's really excellent coverage though, from backwards. Playing in that defensive midfielder role, otherwise known as number 6. Look at the coverage. To drop down and provide that extra player when either of the fullbacks is beaten.
Well, they've got a bit of height, Lebanon, so this will be a test. Australia do as well, of course. Matuk's delivery and Yengi at the near post. Nassar. Underneath it this time was Burgess. Steadied down by McGree. Australia will look to spring forward. McGree trying to stay on side. Perhaps that's why Australia were a little bit reticent to release it early. Lebanon have pinched it back. This is Bassel Girardi. And beyond him is Hassan Straw, and the cutback is not bad. And I reckon Shaban might have just taken it away from his captain, Hassan Matuk. Decent little opening that for the Cedars. And they will come again. Bassel Girardi. Encouraged to shoot by the Lebanon fans, but the pass wasn't disguised well enough. A couple of little warning shots across the bows of the Socceroos.
Well, the game has gone through that little period where it's a very open affair, punch and counter punch, and Lebanon actually looked up for it. The expectation was that they were just at every opportunity really going to try and close the door and drop deep. And largely that'll still be the case, but in those moments of open play, they looked like they were pretty keen to go toe-to-toe with Australia.
Now, Riley McGree's got a bit of a problem here. Just having a word with the Australian medical team. Because he was only just back from injury at the Asian Cup, which is why Graham Arnold used him sparingly in the early games.
This is a really bad sight, actually, because as you reported, Simon, he was just getting back into game time at Asian Cup time and showed some moments of quality, but was clearly short of a gallop. Well, since then, back into Middlesbrough, and one of the leading lights has been going really well. This will be a setback. Let's hope they've got whatever the problem is done early.
Well, by the looks of it, Riley McGree's in a spot of bother here. So Australia down to 10 just for the moment. Whether Riley McGree will be back remains to be seen. And of course it's so early in the game, Harps.
Yeah.
The subs are probably not even started warming up yet.
Well,
so
if it is going to be Jordan Boss, and so it looks like that's the movement, I mean, he's not going to get much time. You heard Graham Arnold in the pre-game say the questions about Geordie Boss, why sitting on the bench. Well, he arrived after a 25-hour flight at 2 in the morning Wednesday. Now he's got to be ready for international football. I mean, it's incredible what these guys have to do to get ready for top-flight sport. And his rest looks like it's not going to be as long as was intended.
Well, the tyranny of distance, of course, has always been a problem for Australia, but the 10 men are doing all right at the moment. Here's Connor Metcalfe. He has Atkinson outside him. To telegraph that pass. However, the last touch was off Hassan Shaitu, and so it will be a Socceroos corner. Geordie Boss being readied by the Australian backroom team. Meantime, his would-be teammates are about to take a corner. They're going to try and get Jordan Boss on before it's taken, but the board's not ready. Now it is. So there's the change. Jordan Boss after just 16 minutes, and we'll try and get news on what the problem is for Riley McGree throughout the night. Meantime, Connor Metcalfe prepares to deliver the corner. Harry Sutar in position, of course. Here he is at the back post. Loops it up, and Mostafa Matar with a strong and, as it turns out, rather brave punch under serious pressure from Kai Rolls, and the whistle goes in favour of Lebanon.
a loop ball to the back, and there's only one player on the field who's really going to win that. High rolls. Then back on, as it was, to the front post. It becomes the back post. Leaning in with the head and taking out Mustafa Matar.
So another player requiring treatment. Mustafa Matar, who plays for the Ahed club back in Lebanon, a club that could be facing the Central Coast Mariners in the AFC Cup final, providing both teams get through their zonal finals. You need the slide rule and a protractor to work out
We're nearly there.
The AFC Cup works.
Well, we're nearly there, Simon.
Yeah.
We're nearly there.
It's been a long road, hasn't it?
For the Mariners, a home and away semi coming up in a few weeks' time in April.
And by the way, talking of Mustafa Matar, he was their hero in their zonal final against Al Qaraba, scored the winning penalty in the shootout, the goalkeeper. He's a little bit dazed at the moment. Looks to be good to go. Played all 3 games at the Asian Cup in Qatar, Mustafa Matar. Very much the number 1 after the erstwhile custodian. Mehdi Khalil, who's on the bench tonight, suffered an ACL injury. It's a nice turn from Nasser Nasser. Now Hassan Matuk. Enough pressure applied by Burgess. Heavy touch by Taggart, and in his attempts to win the ball back, he has fouled Maher Sabra. Let's quickly go down to Daniel Garb and see if there's any update on Riley McGree. Garby.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, it's a foot injury for Riley McGree, which is concerning. We know how important he is to the Socceroos and to Middlesbrough at the moment. He pointed to an area of the pitch when he felt his foot just tweak, and let the medical staff know about that. So a foot problem for Riley McGree. Hopefully it's not too serious.
Thanks, Garby. There's Taggart. He's offside, though. And Lebanon quickly on with it. Matuk. Well defended by Rolls, and then overrun by Boss, but he gets the throw. Suter. So a turn off Metcalf. One for Adam Taggart to chase. No risks being taken by Walid Shaw.
It's been a good start for Taggart, in as much as he's been able to get involved in a fair bit of the play in the opening 20 minutes. Straight back as quickly as possible into the Socceroos football.
Last cap was against New Zealand in September 2022. As Jackson Irvine claims a corner off Ali Tamish. The referee's just going to hold up the corner for a moment. Let's have a conversation. About the usual fun and games inside the penalty area from set pieces. Geordie Boss's delivery towards the near post, and over it goes off Harry Sutar. Regular goal scorer, of course, for the green and gold.
He is usually at the other end of his body. But looking to volley this with the inside of his right foot. There he comes, or the knee even. Whatever it takes.
So far it's been relatively comfortable for Australia. Lebanon have had a couple of promising situations, but nothing more than that. Crucially, of course, we have that goal from Keanu Bacchus, who leaps prodigiously into the air there to deflect it back to his teammate, Atkinson. turning under pressure from Girardi. Suta. Taggart again just leaning into Maher Sabra. They're having quite the battle, those two.
Sabra's just a little annoyed. He's been dealt with harshly by Taggart on too many occasions now. The former air conditioner losing his cool.
Yeah, that was his day job whilst playing football as well in Lebanon. Air conditioning salesman. Here's Hassan Matouk, their main weapon. It's not a bad ball either. Steered away for now by Burgess. Matouk again. He just lost his footing on the surface. He was claiming he was being fouled there, but I'm not sure there was any contact. Maybe the replay might tell us differently. He seemed pretty certain.
I think he just lost his footing. But again, it was a decent entry into the Australian penalty area. Cam Burgess with a very good clearing header for Australia.
Back by Khalil Khamis. He's on the ball again now for Lebanon. Omar Shaban. Too heavy.
Unfortunately for Lebanon, just that little bit of lack of quality from Shaban. Understandably looking for Basel Girardi in shirt 22. He is a talent, a real talent. And if you're Lebanon, you're looking as soon as you get any chance at all to try and release Girardi. Which to his fairness to him, that's what Shaban tried to do with the last opportunity that mishit his pass.
Completely out of favour, by the way, Basel Girardi for his club side Bangkok United in Thailand. He's played only one game since the Asian Cup, and that was in the AFC Champions League against Yokohama F. Marinos off the bench. Harry Kewell's new team, of course. Sutar. Atkinson. Metcalf. Seen out safely for Lebanon. Hassan Srour, who's in hot pursuit of Bacchus now. Lebanon have pinched the ball, but only briefly, and it might favour Adam Taggart. There's no flag, but it just wouldn't sit quickly enough for him. And Lebanon scramble it clear, and Shaitu will earn the throw off Yangi.
That's unfortunate for Australia and for Taggart. I mean, he's worked really hard at the start of this game to get involved and get his body, and he's just about onside. And this was the moment when you need that to stick, and he's been showing most of the season in the A-League that he finds that technique as he needs it, but it escaped him then, which is unfortunate because he's laid a good foundation in the start of this match as Taggart.
Very tight over on that far side, but Australia reluctant to give up the ball. Adam Taggart's last international goal, by the way, was the last goal scored by the Socceroos before the long COVID break. The winner against Jordan in November 2019. Yangi dispossessed, and there's no foul. Ali Tanish will poke it out towards Hassan Matouk. A bit of a nothing ball from the Cedar skipper. Easily fended away by the Socceroos. Nice angle ball by Atkinson for Bacchus, and now Irvine. Sutar. Burgess for Rolls. Irvine trying to steer it into that little gap, but Nassar is had a good start to this game. Was quickly in to steal the ball for Lebanon. Not able to stick hold of it for any decent length of time. Now they will get the throw though, Lebanon. Total have won just 2 of their last 12 internationals. Last one was pre-Asian Cup friendly against, strangely enough, the eventual finalist Jordan by 2-1. So it shows that they are a decent side, the Cedars. Rolls a throw for Yengi. Touchback by Boss. Irvine. Boss for Yengi. Cassini Yengi's going to have a go here. Deflected, awkward for Mostafa Matar. It's a good readjustment by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, nice from the keeper. He's been knocked over by Kai Rolls and needed attention. He's beaten by Bacchus for the opening goal. He'll be a little bit disappointed by that set of circumstances, but he recovered nicely off the deflected shot, and well done to Cassini Yengi. Very positive play.
Foul on Adam Taggart. Australia looking good at the moment. They lost their last World Cup qualifier in this city. It's going to be a corner off Nasa, which is against Japan. 2-0. That was March 2022. There's that Cassini Yengi effort some moments ago.
There's a nasty little deflection. He's a very positive customer, Cassini Yengi, enjoying of late scoring goals for Portsmouth.
Geordie Boss with plenty of flight towards Irvine, who reached it at the back post. Lebanon managed to get out, at least of a fashion anyway.
In those very difficult situations, on balance, Lebanon have defended their penalty area very well from the set pieces and the crossing situations.
It is what they do well. They frustrated the eventual Asian Cup winners, Qatar, for 45+ minutes in the opening game of the tournament in Doha. Here's Taggart trying to hit the byline. It's a good sliding challenge by Walid Shaw, and another corner.
He's fitting in nicely, Adam Taggart. He's been very well defended, but it was a lovely ball through from Jackson Irvine. He's really everywhere. Connor Metcalf, it's no wonder, really, when you see that the form they bring from Sao Paulo back to this and the form they're generating for Sao Paulo.
See if Connor Metcalf can claim an assist. No Craig Goodwin to take the set pieces, of course, this evening. Referee not happy again. Just reminding the players that he's got his beady eye on them. Sitar jostling for position. Metcalf's delivery. Lebanon deal with that, and they're going to get a free kick as well for a foul on Khalil Khamis, which the home fans don't appreciate.
Stray hand in the face, completely accidental from Burgess.
An inadvertent slap across the chops. Big Cameron Burgess. He's going pretty well with Ipswich Town in the English Championship. Matar's been given the hurry along by referee Kamis Almari. Burgess to turn it back to Matt Ryan. There's a foot race between Shaitu and Keanu Bacchus. And it's Lebanon who get the throw. Shaitu takes. This is Ali Tamish. Another throw, this time off Metcalf. Girardi. Shaitu in close attendance. It just didn't quite work out for the Cedars. Shaitu, another player, probably wouldn't have played. And some of his compatriots been fit. Nassar is the usual left wing back for Lebanon, but he's switched over to play on the right. And that's because Hussein Zain is unavailable. Here's Rolls. That's an intelligent ball brought down here by Taggart. Again, wouldn't quite sit for him. Lebanon struggling to clear their lines. Irvine resets it. Geordie Boss. Irvine, Yengi and Taggart both waiting. And in the end, it was Maher Sabra who got the crucial touch.
It was really excellent defending too. From Sabra, it's a teasing ball this from Jackson Irvine, and you really thought Cassini Yengi was going to nail it, but really excellent defending. Yengi appreciates the effort, but it was wonderful work from Sabra.
A succession of corners. Metcalf again, flatter this time, headed on at the near post by Irvine. Cam Burgess unable to get the final touch.
It's a mistake, this one. It's Kai Rolls on the near post.
It was Kai Rolls.
With the glancing header. And Cam Burgess is in the right position. It's just on him too quickly. A near thing.
Rolls, one of the quartet of Australians at part of Midlothian. Doing pretty well in Scotland, third place in the Scottish Premier League. In fact, there's a fair old Scottish influence in that Australian defence, isn't there? Atkinson of Hearts, Sutar with the Scottish accent, Cam Burgess I think is of Scottish descent, and Kai Rolls also of Hearts. Muck Australia.
She's really playing in kilts.
Irvine. Boss almost overran it. Put in by Ali Tanish. Sutar. No, not quite.
Just a couple of breakdowns for Australia, but on balance so far, it's been a lively performance. A very good movement across the field. Great energy from Australia. It's getting very enjoyable to watch.
Girardi, good strength. He's got himself in a bit of a pickle here. Somehow he's managed to get out of it. Only for a moment though. Now Bacchus has the same problem, and he's lost out. Girardi not quick enough for the release, and Australia will sweep forward. Irvine threads the needle. Can Boss get there ahead of Nassar? It's a strong shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, no problem with that at all. Johnny Boss unfortunately hasn't regained his feet.
And he's clutching the left knee. That is a worry for Australia. So he stays down for the moment. Remember, he only came on because Riley McGree was injured as well. And now we've got a stoppage for a free kick from Lebanon, and referee Almari will go and check on Geordie Boss.
Yeah, the foul was on Girardi in the centre of this field.
It's the shoulder-to-shoulder charge, which I think is fair enough, but maybe the way he falls means he jars that knee.
Or the weight he took on it on one of those steps to try and maintain his balance. He'll be doing a jet lag in a bit anyway.
Yeah.
It's, a young guy making his early way through a career in Europe, and he's got a huge future. He's a very exciting talent. We heard very obviously that there's nothing badly wrong here, but that through the checks on the stabilisation of the knee.
Bit of a grimace on the face of Geordie Boss, but nothing about, which is a good sign. Got his first goal for his country against India at the Asian Cup. And he's got a couple for his new club side in Belgium, Westerlo as well, including one scored recently on the 9th of March against Mechelen. All tests for that knee. So Australia again briefly down to 10. Matuk's crosses charged down. This is Nasser, and that should be Matty Ryan's.
Unfortunate for Nasser. He's really caught the eye and has shown better football tonight than hitting that one straight to Matt Ryan.
Atkinson. Frustich limbering up on the near side just in case he's required to replace Geordie Boss. I've not seen Frustich for a while. The sort of player that we lamented a bit at the Asian Cup. And Australia doing all right without him here. This is Geordie Boss back in the action, too high for Yengi. Retrieved by Atkinson. Yengi was offside. Swept out of play by Maher Sabra.
There's a very good forward run from Jackson Irvine as well up the inside left channel. Geordie Boss ignored him and went straight for the twin centre forwards, and quite sure but he looked to be in a good position to attack the ball. He just had a little bit too much pace on it.
First of a double header against Lebanon, of course. Play in Canberra on Tuesday. It was nominally a home game for Lebanon, but not able to play in Beirut due to the security situation, of course, in that part of the world at the moment. Tickets going well for that game. And don't forget the Socceroos take on Palestine in their World Cup qualifier in Perth on Tuesday the 11th of June as well at HBF Park. And search Socceroos for tickets if you want to go and cheer on the green and gold in WA. Matuk. This looks more promising. Down goes Shaban. A real suggestion of any penalty apart from the Lebanese supporters. Shaban still down. Matuk tricks his way past Jackson Irvine. It's a dangerous ball in, seen out for now by Atkinson. This is Sabra, and his efforts lacked any real venom. And now he's herring back to get back in his defensive position. And here he is on the ball. Showing they're not just here for the experience.
Yeah, they've had a couple of very promising situations around Australia's penalty area, just like that little bit of quality. And even then, when Sabra broke into the box, it was 100% for effort. It just didn't have the quality to really test Matt Ryan.
Forward towards Omar Shaban, who falls heavily again.
Now that isn't an enviable task, Simon, don't you reckon? A ball clipped in about chest height, and on one side you've got Harry Suter, on the next Cam Burgess. Are there two better doormen in football at the moment?
Yeah, the nightclub bouncers. Now Geordie Boss is down on his seat of his pants again. Daniel Garb, what's the issue?
He hasn't looked comfortable since he suffered that knee injury. We don't know how serious it is, but while he tried to play on, he was limping the whole way through while trying to run back. He pushed on valiantly, but you could tell he was far from 100%. He kept glancing over to the Socceroos bench and shaking his head, saying, "I've got to come off." He tried to push through a couple more times, but eventually he has succumbed. So you'd imagine there would be a substitution here for Australia. Aiden Rustic was warming up as we saw before, so you'd imagine that would be the change. Rustic for Boss, and this is a concern. We know how bright this talent is for Australian football in Geordie Boss. Hopefully this knee injury is not too serious. You'd imagine he would be substituted. Apart from that, a wonderful atmosphere down here at CommBank Stadium. It took a while for the crowd to get in because there was a lot of traffic in the area, but any concerns over a small crowd, well, they have been certainly allayed because it is packed. It feels like it's 90% or so inside CommBank Stadium at the moment. Lebanese fans, as you can imagine, making their presence felt, but plenty of green and gold in the stands as well. And that should be the case on Tuesday night as well in Canberra. I can tell you tickets are selling fast. There aren't too many left. They are confident of a record crowd for a Socceroos international in Canberra on Tuesday night for the return game.
Great stuff. Thanks, Garby. So Aiden Rustic back in a Socceroos jersey for the first time since he appeared against Argentina in June of last year. He's had his problems, of course, Harps, both with injuries and with his clubs as well.
Well, it's like it's a little bit of repeat with the commentary, because terrible to see Riley McGree go, but great to see Geordie Boss in. Terrible to see Geordie Boss go, but great to see Rustic back. This is a hammer blow for two players, but it's a very big welcome back for Aiden Rustic, who is playing in midfield. So Connor Metcalf has moved over onto the left wing now. And the way the game is basically unfolding, Nathaniel Atkinson is virtually playing as a right winger anyway.
Here's Irvine, tips the ball into the box. Back in by Sutar. Flipped off the head of Khalid Khamis. Lebanon struggling to get out. Here's Rustic. First involvement. Now playing his club football in the Netherlands with Heracles. After pretty big fallout with Hellas Verona, his club in Italy. Atkinson trying to dart through that little gap, but quickly shut down by Maher Sabra, who's had a good first half for Lebanon. That's a throw for the Cedars. By Jackson Irvine, and it favoured Taggart. Yengi will drive towards the penalty area. That's an important challenge, just to hold up Cassini Yengi. And Walid Shaw has gone down on the back of it. He was reaching and he knew he had to make contact to stop Cassini Yengi's progress, and it's caused him a bit of damage apparently. Medical staff were initially waved on, and then the players say no, not required.
It was a very important and well-timed intervention from Walid Shaw. A twist as he landed awkwardly as well, but he's back to his feet.
Walid Shaw, who was actually born in Freetown in Sierra Leone, one of 11 overseas-born players that Miodrag Radulovic called up for the Asian Cup, and had 3 years with Luton Town as a junior. Didn't make the grade at Kenilworth Road as we move into 6 additional minutes at the end of the first half. And injuries aside, Harp, so far it's been reasonably good for Australia. They could do with a second goal.
Yeah, look, I think Coach Arnold will be pretty happy with a lot of what he's seen. There's been some really terrific movement around the field. They've been very tenacious defensively around the centre circle. Lebanon have shown a bit too.
Cassini Yengi's turned the ball over. Girardi trying to make progress. Does well to avoid the oncoming Aiden Rustic. Hassan Shaitu with the cross. And Harry Sutar at the near post, tidying up for the Socceroos. And then a nudge in the back of Taggart from, you guessed it, Maher Sabra.
It's been going all evening. He's been waiting to get one back, I think. It's a pretty crude challenge.
And Adam Taggart, I reckon, saw him coming and stuck the backside out.
Good experience.
He's got a dead leg as a result.
I just think from an Australian viewpoint, if they can just tidy up, eradicate some of the errors in possession. The game's been played at a good speed, so it is from time to time asking a lot of people in tight situations with the game going quickly to nail every touch. But if they're looking for that improvement, they really could go to another level. It's been a good first half from both teams. I mean, despite the fact that Lebanon have conceded that goal, they'll be pretty happy with actually what they've been able to produce here as well, and will feel very buoyed by the fact that they're still in the game.
Yengi, Atkinson, Bacchus, Krustic, clever leave, Irvine, the overlap is on, here's Metcalf looking to drive it across the face, and it's a brilliant last-ditch intervention by Walid Shaw again.
This is again nice play, really nice. Krustic with the leave, and Jackson Irvine feeding it through to his clubmate Connor Metcalf, but they're doing what they do well, very well. Lebanon protecting that penalty area.
Metcalf's latest corner, flatter this time, and it pops for Atkinson. Played wide by Krustic for Irvine. Krustic again. Beautiful release for Metcalf, who can't link up with Sutar though. Nassar nipped in and finds Bassel Girardi. And they've got numbers in this attack. They have Lebanon. Ali Tanish. Worked wide by Walid Shaw. Hassan Shaitu. Girardi. That initial momentum has somewhat slowed. And they're back with Walid Shaw. He's looking for that little diagonal run from Hassan Matouk. Heavy touch by Bacchus. Some careless stuff at times in possession for Australia. Nassar. Matouk. And into throw-off rolls. There have just been these little glimpses for the Cedars, without really putting Matt Ryan under any real pressure. Metcalf wins the 50-50. Beautiful weight on that, but it's just got away from Taggart. And here's Sabra. Again, wasn't about to risk playing the back pass to his goalkeeper. Hassan Shaw, not clever enough to get around Atkinson. Irvine. Yengi lets it run in anticipation of Metcalf arriving in behind. He was trapped by this man, Nassar. Hassan Shaw. Shaban. Bassel Girardi. Not quite on the same wavelength. The opportunities have been there for Lebanon. It's just been the execution of that final ball.
And I think the field has opened up on the occasions where Australia has made an error in possession or a controlling touch has been too heavy. And that's, I'm sure, will be at least a focus at half-time. Because it is creating a little bit of opportunity and space for Lebanon, who are playing with plenty of spirit.
Now can Australia find that second goal before the break? Teams claiming the throw-in. Australia get the verdict. A grimace from Graham Arnold. By and large, as you mentioned, Harps, I think he'll be relatively satisfied, but just some sloppy moments.
Yeah, that to me, it's hard to know what they expected when they went in and what they've got as a group compared to that. But I think the movement's been good. There's been an energetic performance from the Socceroos. They're always hard to beat at home, and they're playing with that freshness of being at home, but despite the fact that most of them have come from Europe with that punishing flight. and just improve that quality that little bit, and they'll run away with this one, I reckon. But in the meantime, until they can do that, Lebanon are right in it.
Well, injuries aside to Riley McGree and Jordan Boss, so far so good for Australia. Keanu Bacchus with his first international goal, whether it was a cross or a shot, only he knows. But few in green and gold will care. That's the goal that separates the sides. It came after 5 minutes. Australia have had one or two other chances besides, particularly one for Adam Taggart and one from Kusini Yengi that took a deflection on its way through to Mostafa Matar. Not too much at the other end from Lebanon. Some promising moments, courtesy of some sloppy possessional mistakes by the Australians. But at the interval, they lead Lebanon by a goal to nil. We're off to a break ourselves. Back in a moment with all the first half analysis with Neve and the guys.
The Socceroos got off to the perfect start at Combank Stadium. An early goal for the Aussies opened this one right up. Plenty of action at either end of the park for the crowd to celebrate here in this second round of Olympic qualifying, and it is the Socceroos with a 1-0 lead at half-time. Welcome to the Halftime Show. I'm Neve Owens alongside Luke Wilkshire and Alex Frost. Lukey, Keanu Bacchus, whether it was a shot or not, doesn't matter one iota. It found the back of the net.
Look, it wasn't the one we expected to be scoring the opening goal, Keanu Bacchus. But this, we clearly see he's trying to put that ball in the box for Yengi. You could say you got it all right or you got it all wrong, but it's ended up nestled in the top corner. What a finish, you could say, or what a cross. He celebrated like he meant it, but I'm not too sure.
No, the celebration looks like he meant every bit of it, but I'm definitely not sure that he did there. Look, he gets, I mean, the way they won the ball, you had Harry Suter coming in to pressure that ball. That's that high tempo, and as soon as we lose it, winning the ball straight back, he gets out wide. And look, it is a poor cross, but it's ended up a goal and the perfect start, which is similar to our last game, down in Melbourne. You want to start with a goal in these games early to take that pressure off and, get the crowd behind you. And from there, look, I think we've looked dangerous, we've looked good, and been quite exciting, to be honest, going forward.
And as we have a look at the Subway subs, it was an important one because about 10 minutes later, Riley McGree went off injured. We think a foot injury. Geordie Boss came into the fray. He copped a knock as well, Lukey. Who do you want to see in the second half? Because Graham Arnold's got a bit to think about. Yeah,
look, we spoke about hoping to see Geordie Boss and Erstich, not so early and not through injury, unfortunately, but they've happened early. We move forward. Look, we'd love to see someone like Nisbet, who's in the squad for the first time, to get an opportunity, and someone like Sammy Silvera, who's also very excited and has had limited minutes.
Yeah, that's right. And look, I think if Yengi and Taggart, after a couple more minutes, if they don't get too much happiness, then I'd like to see someone like Borrello, get himself back into this national team and get himself on the score sheet.
Second round of World Cup qualifying continues after the break. The Socceroos with the lead at Combank Stadium. Can they drive that advantage?
The Socceroos leading Lebanon 1-0 at half-time at Combank Stadium in this World Cup qualifier. The second half is not too far away, but a wonderful moment during the half-time break. A couple of former Socceroos received their caps, Paul Bolokovic and David Zrilic, cap number 425, City FC assistant coach, former Socceroos striker. What a moment that is for you, mate. Your partner was here, your little girl's here, your parents and your sister. Talk us through how special that was.
I tell you, it's great what the Federation are doing to recognise Socceroos, to make this, you know, like a culture. I think it's great. It's an honour. It's been the biggest privilege of my life to play for the Socceroos, and now to be recognised like this, fantastic.
Well done, mate. What about the first half? You'd have loved seeing two strikers up front, surely?
That's right, that's right. Look, I tell you, it's a little bit a tricky first half. The goal, shot, cross, but it went in, so but you can see Lebanon also have something on the break, so we have to be careful. They're hard to break down, so we need to hopefully just be patient, get that second goal, and then hopefully take the win from there.
Massive game for you, Sydney FC, after the international break against the champions, the Mariners, but things are tracking well.
It is. I mean, we played Wellington in Auckland last week, great crowd. Unfortunately, we didn't get the result, but we've been doing really well. Hopefully we get back on track against the Mariners, who have been playing fantastic in recent weeks, so it'll be a good game. The A-League, I mean, everybody's nice and close together, so it's exciting for the fans, but we just need to keep kicking on.
Congratulations on getting your cap. We can't wait for that A-League game after the international break. Sydney FC, who are tracking nicely, up against the champions, the Central Coast Mariners.
Change of angle and headed in. What a beauty for Sydney FC, and it's the skipper on the night.
Shifts it into Nisbet. Josh Nisbet has done it again.
Ryan Grant, chance here on the back. Sydney hit the front.
Nisbet powering through the middle. Docker finds Edmondson. He's got his first.
Second half not too far away. At Parramatta, where Australia lead by 1-0 thanks to Keanu Bacchus's early strike. Good to see the kids enjoying themselves in the stands. You can kick off your football journey at one of Football Australia's mini Roos programs. Kids of all skill levels, aged 4 to 11, head to miniroos.com.au if you want to find out more and start your journey into the world of football. Well, Shaw started his journey with Luton Town many years ago as a junior. He was playing World Cup qualifiers for Lebanon, who last won an away World Cup qualifier against Syria by 3-2 back in October 2021. They've got a bit of work to do here if they are to turn this one around. They've had one or two good situations, but by and large Australia have been dominant. Graham Arnold will want to cut out some of those errors in possession and ensure the 3 points. By the way, you'll see that they're wearing black armbands tonight, the Socceroos. That is in honour of Steve Maxwell, Socceroo number 339, who sadly passed away recently. Our thoughts with his family and friends. Legend of the game, winner of titles with Adelaide City. He will be missed. Now Lebanon are making a change at the break. Hassan Sroor has been replaced by Ahmed Haidar, who's another one from the Ahed club. So the Central Coast Mariners will be keeping an eye on some of these players in case they play them in the AFC Cup final. 34 years of age, involved in all 3 group games at the Asian Cup. He can score a goal or two as well. Netted 10 in the Lebanese Premier League last season. Hopefully for the Socceroos, not tonight. So maybe a little bit of an attacking move by Miodrag Radulovic. Through more a defensive midfielder. Haidar certainly more attacking. So away we go in the second half. Australia 1, Lebanon 0. How does the second half play out, do you think, Andy Harper?
Well, I'm going to assume that Australia's approach will be much the same. And let's see if they can just polish one or two things up a little bit. And I think maybe people have been a little surprised at how open Lebanon were prepared to play. Now, that might, of course, be driven by the circumstance of conceding that goal and really wanting to get the draw out of this game, which was their stated aim at kickoff. But I thought it made for a good first half. And both sides can point to some positive aspects of their game, and now see if the halftime chat can lead either, if not both, to that next step.
Yeah, it's been very watchable. Those three attacking players for Lebanon, Shaban, Matouk and Girardi, still need watching, particularly with Mohamed Haidar now playing centrally and looking to prompt them. Australia would love the security of a second goal. It's a nice release by Cam Burgess for Atkinson. Now Hrustic takes over and looking for Yengi at the back post. And it was well defended by Khalil Khamis, and now Lebanon can get out, but that ball needed to stick for Omar Shaban.
Great
Big chance lost.
Great chance. And poor technique from Shaban, but excellent technique once again from Tanish. Catching a couple of the midfielders for Lebanon tonight. Tanish was excellent there. Nasser. The two of them have had real moments.
Omar Shaban, 9 goals in 35 games at AFC Wimbledon, but that's League 2 in England. This is international football. Hrustic, a rangy sort of a ball to pick out Metcalf, who wants the return off Irvine. Angle wasn't quite open. This is Bacchus, slightly behind Metcalf. He's done well to keep Australia moving forward. Back through Harry Sutar. Hrustic able to turn and looking to thread a ball through. It's a good stretch again by Maher Sabra. The flag was up in any case, but Sabra wasn't to know that. He's put in some really good last-ditch efforts. The number 3, clearly well offside. Taggart looking to build upon that really profitable season for Perth Glory. 15 goals in the A-League. 3 assists as well to boot.
Yeah, and I think it's looking at as good a nick as he ever has.
Here's Taggart, he's offside again.
Taggart got some good positions. And Hrustic has hit the ground running, hasn't he? He's really twisting and turning and threading passes. That left foot of his. And here's Adam Taggart on the freeze, just erring on the wrong side of the defenders, but a positive start from Australia otherwise to this second half.
Away rather cheaply. Khamis and Taggart's away. He's offside again. That's 3 times in the space of about 2 minutes. Got to watch that last line of defence. Was tighter than the other 2.
Yeah, I think he's probably on for that one.
Sorry to disappoint you folks, but no VAR in operation tonight. Mind you, he didn't score anyway. Off the head of Metcalf, and then the chest of Yengi. Rolls beaten to it by Matouk. Who thought that his team should have the throw. At first glance, I have to say, I agree with him. It's gone Australia's way. Burgess. Kostic. I read that really well, but Bacchus has dug it out to find Irvine. And on the left is Metcalf. Thought about the cross. Instead they'll recycle through Bacchus. Atkinson is straight offside. Lebanon have got back in their defensive block. It's gone away from Irvine. The groans of disappointment from the Australian fans. As Nassar gets it up towards Shaban on halfway. Looking for the run of Girardi, but Atkinson was goal side. Sitar got a call from his teammate that Shaban was arriving. Australia have kept 7 clean sheets in their last 9 internationals. Keep Lebanon out from here, and they will be 3 from 3. The start of the second round of World Cup qualifying. Still one more phase to go, of course, with extra spots on offer from Asia to qualify for the expanded World Cup. Bacchus trying to pick his way through midfield. Wanted to take the free kick quickly as well. Lebanon will not have a mind to let them. Burgess. Rolls. Metcalf. Burgess for Suter. And Burgess once more. Krustic. Get away from him this time. This is Mohamed Haidar. Through the contact. Gets the free kick.
Thundering into the back of Haidar. There's Aidan Rustic, who is looking to make amends for his poor touch. It'll be frustrating for Coach Arnold that the passes aren't sticking consistently enough.
Lebanon perhaps sensing that the longer it remains 1-0, the longer they stay in the game, the more the Socceroos will perhaps get nervous. But Ali Tanish has been robbed of the ball. He was determined to win it back. Yengi, good use of the body. Tees up Irvine, deflected, side netting. Corner ball.
That's great pressure in midfield. Firstly, Bacchus steaming in to force the issue, and as it bounces to Yengi, tries to thread pass in behind for Jackson Irvine, who makes contact. The deflection actually caused a few heart palpitations for Lebanon, I'm sure.
Krustic with the corner. Near post was Burgess. Pops out for Kai Rolls. It's got in. Another debut international goal. First Keanu Bacchus. Now Kai Rolls gets in on the scoring act. There was a bit of pinball inside the penalty area, but he doesn't care. And Australia do now have that 2-goal cushion.
Well, the corner curling away, and Lebanon normally defending these situations so well that they couldn't react. Kai Rolls could, to score his first goal for the green and gold. Mr. Consistency has now added goal scoring to his resume. What a great moment for a guy who doesn't make many waves around the place, but rarely, if ever, lets his team down.
His first goal and his 19th international. I'm sure he'll have a few family and friends here to witness that moment as well. Now it really is a mountain to climb for the Cedars. Just as I mentioned, the longer it went on 1-0, there might have been some nervousness, but surely not now for the Socceroos. This is Sambra. Ball stayed in play. Krustic, Yengi. Left it short for Taggart. For Matar, just about managed to get rid in the nick of time, as Cassini Yengi was closing him down very quickly. Played wide by Haydar. They're good enough to get out here, Lebanon. The answer is no. Metcalf drops here for Bacchus, and here's Yengi, and then Taggart really get the tower. And it just popped up for the Perth Glory striker.
Well, there's been a lot of those sort of sequences. That was a pretty frenetic action, but still, one of the themes of the evening has been the number of balls that have been just bouncing away from players. What Australia are doing very, very well at the moment with their energy, closing the field up. The pressing has been very good. Bacchus has been excellent. Irvine too. The recovery now has been very astute, and they've won the ball. It's great efficiency from Australia in winning the ball back.
Vincel Girardi fancying that he might have been bundled over from behind, but referee says no, and there's little gaps starting to appear, and Taggart looking to exploit one. There's support here from Atkinson, but it wasn't a good ball from Taggart. Ali Tanish to sort things out for Lebanon. Miodrag Radulovic did say pre-game that largely their focus was on the 2 games in June. And they go to Palestine and entertain Bangladesh. Israel has lost out again. So, in effect, these 2 games against the group favourites are a free hit, I guess, for the Cedars, because nobody expects them to win.
Well, with goal difference they want to avoid.
Yep.
Copping too many. Australia just beat Palestine by the solitary goal. So they're already in deficit if it's a Palestine, if it's to be a Palestine-Lebanon race for second spot.
And you'd fancy it would be.
Yeah.
With no disrespect to Bangladesh. Here's Metcalf. Yengi. Oh, lovely from Krustic. And again, Adam Taggart not quite able to settle on the ball. The chance disappears as quickly as it arrived. Natuk backed into a bit of a corner here. Turns the ball over once again. Good pressure from Australia. Metcalf. Krustic. Little dink over the top. Starting to play Aiden Krustic. Here's Yengi. It's some of the good things that Aiden Krustic brings. There's the curse. Thanks, Aiden.
He just got closed down from the back, but you know, he's shown plenty since coming onto the field. He's made a few errors as well, but it's not Robinson Crusoe there. There's been too many errors from Australian players, but basically there's a freshness and an energy about what the Socceroos are doing tonight, which is in a real saving grace.
It's an interesting manoeuvre from Keanu Bacchus. I think he almost sat on the ball there.
And there's more goals in this one for the Socceroos, and they're working the ball nicely. The movement's good if they can just settle in possession at those crucial moments.
It's a good stretch by Nassar. To get it through to Connor Metcalf. He's still looking for his first international goal. Australia can make it a hat-trick of maiden goals tonight. This is well and sure. Nassar. Leaving it for his captain, Hassan Batuk. right as Gerard. This is good movement. Ali Tanish for Lebanon, and Matt Ryan called into action, probably for the first time tonight, to deflect that ball away to the side. Remember the Australian goalkeeper having much other meaningful work.
No, that's the most meaning. He's had to put into an action. He did have to fall on an effort from Supper in the first half, but there was nothing in it. And you know, those moments from Lebanon, from time to time, they do threaten that type of action. So he's got a good effort on goal.
50-50 between Haydar and Atkinson, and here comes the yellow card for Nathaniel Atkinson for a high foot on Mohamed Haydar. Cautions, of course, can come into play later on in the group. That's why Lebanon are missing 2 players today due to disciplinary trouble. He did try and pull out, didn't he, Atkinson? But
yeah, but it's still
a foul.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the ref doing that one. And then just before then, of course, Tanash forcing some very good work from Matt Ryan. And, you know, Simon, Lebanon have been pretty bold in this away game against Australia, whose home record is phenomenal. But that hasn't really deterred Lebanon. They've really been up for it. When they look back at the nature of the goals they've conceded, they'll be very, very frustrated. Now, that's not to say, upon balanced view, that Australia aren't at least a couple of goals better team. But the circumstances of the particular goals, which do separate the teams, will be very frustrating for Lebanon.
You talk about that home record for Australian World Cup qualifiers. The defeat to Japan in Sydney a couple of years ago was their first since they lost at home in a dead rubber to China in 2008. 22 wins, 4 draws and 1 loss, their record since that day. Which itself,
the China one, by my recollection, was the first of its kind for a while too.
1981.
Yeah, I mean, it's formidable. Such a big advantage, which they maximise most of the time, almost all of the time. And they've looked good tonight for large parts, Australia. Look good, but could be better. I think that's so far going to be the chat, but the foundation is a good one.
It's just those little moments of which Aidan Frustic has just provided one where they're a bit too casual in possession and the passes don't stick. Here's Yengi, right to challenge of Ali Tanish. And the second and the third, he's still going, bullocking his way through. Before his run is eventually brought to a halt. I believe Kusini Yengi is perhaps the next generation number 9 for Australia. Are you of that school of thought, perhaps?
Well, he's certainly making good of his opportunities so far. Looks like there's going to be a couple of changes. Another couple might get the chance up front to show what they're made of.
Yeah. John Iredale is standing by for his debut, and Mitch Duke is with him. Lebanon are going to make a change as well next break in play. Meantime, Mohamed Haydar has dispossessed Keanu Bacchus. And this is Hassan Shaitu. Straight at Jackson Irvine from a clearance from Mustafa Mata. Bacchus. Good quick release for Atkinson. He then got tangled up with Hassan Shaitu. Burgess. Space here for Metcalf. Nassar across, but Metcalf has skipped past him. He hands it up at the back post, where every attacker had been drawn to the near. And here are those changes. And for Lebanon, it's the end of the section for their veteran skipper. Hassan Matouk is going to be replaced by Daniel Khoury, who's a Mexican-born player of Lebanese descent. His father was born in Lebanon, plays in the Mexican second division for Atlanta. One of many in this squad from the diaspora. But if this is the last we are to see of Hassan Matouk, we should pay homage to perhaps the greatest player in Lebanese history.
Yeah, it's a well-made point, Simon. He's been fabulous. He was good again tonight. Certainly hope we get to see him again on Tuesday night. No reason to expect we won't.
So 2 strikers off, Cassini Yangi and Adam Taggart. 2 strikers on. Mitch Duke, of course, we know all about, particularly at this venue from his days with Western Sydney Wanderers. John Iredale, we know a little bit less about. It's a debut. Socceroo number 640. Player plays in Germany for Wien Wiesbaden. Was part of the Asian Cup squad, but didn't feature. 24 years of age, and Graham Arnold knows him well. He gave him his senior debut when he was with Sydney FC against Darwin Rovers in the Australia Cup. And he's quickly into the action here, Iredale. And he wanted a corner, but he's going to be disappointed.
Showed a good turn of speed. And we moved with him to Europe to help him pursue his career. And he gets his big breakthrough here. Another very proud Australian family watching on. Decent crowd here doing the same thing.
Turned back by Sabra, and Iredale will put pressure on Mustafa Mata, and he very nearly got his reward. This is Ali Tanish. Good turn. Sabra for Shaitu. Gets it back off Girardi. So really good work by Nathaniel Atkinson, and then Duke trying to turn clear of Sabra. His turn to have the running battle with the Lebanese number 3 after Adam Taggart's departure. Mohamed Haidar. And the ball over the top means Matt Ryan has had to come out and literally use his head to get Australia out of that little sticky situation. Haidar. Brought down by Duke. Jabbed forward by Fustic. Settled down by Irvine. Worked wide by Duke for Metcalf. Nice to play by the Australians, but the cross is disappointing at the end of all that.
Well, it is, because it came off the boot of Connor Metcalf, who's otherwise played well, but his last 2 contributions have been overhit crosses like him.
Iredale's pass can't find its range either. Forward towards Shaban, but he's beaten to it by Suta. And has stayed down on our Shaban for Lebanon. Iredale for Bacchus. A bit of keep ball for the Socceroos. Rather sportingly, it would appear Australia allowing Omar Shaban to get back to his feet before they picked up the pace. That was my reading of it anyway.
I think very chivalrous. Jackson Irvine and Aidan Rustic.
They do that at the World Cup finals.
What if they weren't feeling so comfortable?
Here is Omar Shaban. He gets the foul this time. Quickly down to Daniel Garb for news on Geordie Boss.
Yeah, I spoke to Geordie Boss as he just emerged from the dressing rooms. He seems reasonably confident about his knee injury. He says he doesn't think it's too serious. He will have a scan tomorrow, so he's still a little bit concerned, but he was walking in a reasonable manner, and he said he doesn't think it's too serious. The Socceroos medical staff have said to me that his knee is stable, so hopefully it is the most minor of knee injuries for Geordie Boss. Riley McGree has his ankle in a moon boot, but he also seems pretty relaxed about the extent of his foot injury.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, Garvey. Here's Frustich. Rolls, giving it away to Ali Tanish. A touch back for Mohamed Haydar. That was the moment really for Lebanon to go. Try and put some pressure, but really seemed to have the belief. Through Walid short. And back from Kamil Kamis for Mata. There's long looking for Daniel Kuri. There's Ali Tanish. Hassan Shaitu. Haydar. Nasser. Kamis for Kuri. There's a little spell of possession for Lebanon. Haydar. Well, sure. And a little nibble. And the ankle produces a free kick for Lebanon.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of snippets from Azil Girardi, just his quality. Sort of turn there, out of trouble. So he really does have nice touch. I mean, he hasn't caused the Socceroos trouble tonight for a couple of reasons. Firstly, he hasn't received enough ball, but secondly, on the occasions when there has been some sort of opportunity, he's really lacked the physicality, the speed to get into space and to run away from defenders.
Played almost his entire career in Europe, Basil Girardi, as Haydar delivers the free kick. Kamis won it at the back post, but an easy claim for Ryan. He actually represented Denmark at junior level, Basil Girardi, before opting for the country of his heritage. Born in Copenhagen. Here's Rolls. Australia are comfortable, but I'm sure Graham Arnold would love a real exclamation mark on the back end of this performance. A resounding victory.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Just to consolidate, build the confidence, reaffirm.
Krustic. That's a beautiful release with the outside of the boot, but Mitch Duke, just like Adam Taggart before him, has gone too early. And quite some margin as well.
Yeah, that one was pretty clearly evident.
Problem with Maher Sabra. Maybe just needs a breather. He's had a very busy night, hasn't he? Having to deal with first Taggart and now Duke, the 32-year-old, who not only worked as an air-conditioned repairman, Harps,
Cable guy? Was he the cable guy as well?
Opened a clothing store in 2022. He's a man of many different talents. Here's the crowd figure tonight, 27,026, pretty close to a sellout at Combank Stadium in Parramatta. And by and large, I think they've been pretty well entertained.
Yeah, I think it's there's been plenty of speed in the game, plenty of end-to-end stuff, plenty of players in full motion, plenty of crosses turning into shots, if that's what it was. But it's the first goal for Bacchus, who's played well otherwise, and I think is really emerging. in general terms, and another debut goal for Kai Rolls. Two very deserving players. Frustrating for Lebanon, the nature of both goals to concede. But Australia not doing it easily. That would be both wrong and disrespectful to the opponents tonight, but they're clearly in control of the game and would like, as you say, Simon, to put a couple of exclamation points on this one.
I guess if there's a slight frustration for Graham Arnold, it's the fact that his central strikers, so far at least, and there's still a bit of this game to go, haven't hit the score sheet. In fact, you have to go back to the Bahrain friendly before the Asian Cup, where Mitch Duke scored in a 2-0 win, to find the last time one of the central strikers hit the target. Here's Bassel Girardi meantime. And it breaks kindly for Ali Tanish. Australia appealing for offside. Atkinson gets the better of him. It's going to be an Australian throw, and we're going to see a couple of changes here for Lebanon. Well, not quite yet, because the board's not ready. A little bit slow with the board tonight. Iredale looking to link up with Duke. Tanish. Hayder. Sabra trying to join in with the attack. But all too often it's broken down in that region of the field for Lebanon. They generally have acquitted themselves quite well, particularly given that they are missing half a dozen probably first choice players. Australia missing a few as well, of course. Bacchus didn't see Mohamed Haydar coming. And he's going to get a yellow card, is he here? Yep. Keanu Bacchus becomes the second Socceroo to go into the book. And that's a costly one too, by the way. It's his second in this group stage, and that means he will play no part on Tuesday in Canberra.
Yeah, he just got caught napping there and in trying to redress the situation, which he's really done very well. Most of the game, not on the back of his own missed touches, but he's just led that midfield defensive charge really well, but overstepping the mark there, and I think understandably picking up the yellow card.
So a couple of changes for Lebanon. Karim Darwich is a like-for-like replacement for Omar Shaban, a striker. Another one from the head club, didn't make the Asian Cup squad. And veteran Nada Matar is with us as well in place of Ali Tanish, player born in the Ivory Coast. A Lebanese dad and a Moroccan mum. See if those changes make any difference for the Cedars. Thumped into the stands by Metcalf. This is Darwich. Bakir was inventive, so too from Girardi. And the shot flashes across the face of goal from Daniel Khoury. Probably Lebanon's best attacking movement of the game.
Yeah. They've had two shots in the second half. It's a poor shot in the end, but good space made. And Simon, just do a quick scan of the notes you're madly scribbling down. Have Australia had a shot on goal?
Second half? Well, they've had the goal.
Oh, apart from the goal, but you know, in general.
No.
Some good attacks, but it's not materialised to actual shots on goal.
Yep. Lebanon have created two. It's not to say that the performance has necessarily been poor, but it's a good point you make. those good attacking raids have not ended in chances for Graham Arnold's team.
Now, a big part of that has been the expert and desperate Lebanon defending in their own penalty area. They really do it very, very well. But Australia have had enough movements, positive movements, to trouble that statistic.
High rolls dallying on the ball, robbed by Darwich. Lebanon on the front foot again. And the ball for Mata. Australia being made to work hard for their lead. Streaking through the middle was Rustic. Probably should have been played in by Irvine. Instead it's with Nathaniel Atkinson. And again, Lebanon looked to squeeze the pitch. And they're back in their defensive shape now. 5 defenders strung along the back line. Burgess took his eye off the ball. He's strong enough to win it back off Aaron Darwich, but these could be costly errors for Australia. Haydar, they're queuing up here. Daniel Curry off the uprights. Lebanon were that close. Still there for Bassel Girardi. But Nathaniel Atkinson anticipates where the ball's going to go, and the chance is lost for the Cedars. They were that close to their first ever goal against the Socceroos. And now a bit of a mix-up between Khamis and goalkeeper, and Iredale can only earn a corner. Action at both ends.
Frantic stuff, and again it was a couple of errors from Australia in sequence that opened the opportunity for Lebanon, and they came so close to taking that chance.
Haydar is down with a problem for Lebanon. Let's have another look at that chance for Daniel Curry. He struck it really well.
And he had Matty Ryan beat, but not the post. And the goal there, imagine what that does to the last 10 minutes or so, including stoppage time.
There we go, the chances created second half. 3 for Lebanon, 2 for Australia. It's the Lebanese fans you can hear at the moment, even though they're 2 goals down. Haydar still receiving treatment, which is why the corner is delayed. The referee anxious to get on with things. Haydar will have to come to the sideline. And Lebanon will defend the corner a man short. Rustic waiting to deliver. It's this big Harry Sutas moment. Rustic towards the near post, but well defended by the Cedars. Now they'll look to get out. Daniel Curry's been a real handful off the bench, hasn't he?
Well, he senses they can do something here, Curry. Has he got enough teammates in red who share his belief? Never lack spirit, the Cedars from Lebanon. They've played with a bit of quality tonight too. And they've had a really good chance to score.
Bassel Girardi coming off worse in that collision with high rolls. Daniel Curry only played 8 minutes off the bench at the Asian Cup. He's played about 8 minutes here and has shown plenty. Gabriel Bitar is replacement for the stricken Bassel Girardi. Another one of the overseas-born contingent. He was born in Ottawa in Canada, which is where he plays for Vancouver FC in the Canadian Premier League. He was handy for them season as well. 6 goals and 5 assists, joint top scorer for his club. Lebanon are playing a a bit of pressure on the Socceroos here. These are worrying moments for Graham Arnold's team, even though the lead is comfortable. They have not enjoyed the last 10 minutes.
No, it hasn't been a good finish to the game from Australia, but they're still unscathed. There's still time for them to finish in the ascendancy.
Good climb by Duke, and he's quick to react to pick up the rebound. Here's Metcalf driving it across. Well insured at the near post. Really well defended. And here's Daniel Curry. Good hold-up play. Little angle ball finds Nada Matar. And Lebanon have a new energy about them. We're into the last 5 minutes in Parramatta. Haydar. To back off Mata. Through Maher Sabra. Now Walid Shur. Kamis. For Nassar. Sidestepping Metcalf with ease, but can't get over the top of Cameron Burgess. Metcalf for Duke. Intelligent play from Mitch Duke. Krustic. Sutai. Back to Matt Ryan, who's seen more action in the last 10 or 15 minutes. And has done the entire game prior to that. Can't pick out Metcalf. Iredale. Matar. Sabra. Shaitu. Well, the Lebanese diaspora numbers 250,000 in Australia. And the ones that are here tonight, sporting Lebanese colours, are having fun, even though their team is losing 2-0. It's been a rousing finish from Miodrag Radulovic's side. And we'll give them great heart, not just for Tuesday in Canberra, but for those arguably more important games to come against Palestine and Bangladesh in June. Metcalf nips it through for John Iredale. Have a go here. Worth a try.
Shot on goal, forced to save. Steadies the ship just a little bit. Chaotic last 5 to 10 minutes. Well, Australia have looked potentially vulnerable.
Matt Ryan is on the ball here, closing in on clean sheet number 34 for his country. Only Mark Schwarzer has more in Australian history with 44, men's history that is. Nassar. Kamis. It's got away from Kamil Kamis. Can Australia profit? Iredale. Krustic wants it centrally. Jackson Irvine trying to go all on his own. In the end, there's a little deflection off a defender, and Australia will get another corner.
Opened up for goal. Saw the angle nicely, but again, it's the committed recovery of the Lebanon players that made that a little bit more awkward, and then the deception or deflection out for the corner.
Which Lebanon are disputing. Aidan Krustic will take. Last minute of the 90. Chance to improve the goal difference. Hooked on at the near post. It's still there perhaps for Sutar. Mustafa Matar had to climb a long way to get over the top of Harry Sutar, but he did so really well. The ball by Bacchus. Finds Irvine. Back post is Iredale. Here's Mitch Duke looking for the angle. Metcalf. Plenty of power. Either side of Matar, he might have been in trouble. It's going to be an Australian throw, fancy no. Lebanon throw as we move into the first of 5 additional minutes. Overall, how do you sum up this performance by the Socceroos halves? Just wait and see how this plays out. Daniel Curry. Haydar. Wide right is Nassar. Cross deflected away by Rolls. Drop here for Nada Matar. Darwich will keep it in play. Shainzu. Through Sabra. Haydar. It's the right idea. Just a fraction too strong.
Yeah, Australia just, I think, the top line response, Simon, they just need to be more careful with the ball, a few less errors. You know, they played, I think, with great energy. They've covered the ground nicely. There's been some very positive movement, particularly out of midfield. Disappointing for the team thus far that they haven't been able to see off the desperate penalty area defending of Lebanon to capitalise on some of the moves. And the times they've been in trouble have been because of errors. So there's no such thing as the perfect 90 minutes. Errors are going to happen, but the more you can minimise them. I think there are areas where the team will look back and think, well, that's an error that was unforced and not necessary. And start reducing the error, counting key moments. I see them taking a big step forward, but the crowds come, and they're the best arbiters of this. People have been energised by the movement, and Lebanon have contributed mightily as well. The circumstances of the Bacchus goal has probably opened the game up a little bit. And it's been a good contest.
His touch is inadvertently played in Haydar. He's looking for Curry. Really on the stretch for that ball. Australia having to battle really hard to keep hold of the ball. And they've turned it over again. Great determination shown. Lebanon cross steered away at the near post by Burgess. Towards the near post. Rolls. And then Metcalf complete the tidy up. Incidentally, games elsewhere around Asia. Japan leading North Korea by 1-0 just before half-time. And the Asian Cup finalists, Jordan, have beaten Pakistan by 3-0. 18 ties around the region this evening. South Korea goalless with Thailand. That game has just kicked off. Here we are deep into stoppage time. Australia are going to get the points. What will be made of the performance, particularly second half? This is another matter. It's a good ball into the box. Touchdown by Bitar. And appeals for handball, and they've been heeded by referee Kamis Almari, and Lebanon will have a late chance here.
Well, no Girardi, no Hassan Martouk. Looked a lot of shoulder to me, but from that angle, we'll get a better one here. Hard to tell. Probably a free kick. Ultimately compelling in that replay. Matty Ryan beaten once to his left, but the post saved him. Was strong to his right from Tanish earlier in this half. Will Lebanon find a test for Australia's custodian right at the death here?
Darwich, Attar and Haydar having a bit of a conference as to what to do with this set piece. Might be the last chance of the game. 5 minutes of stoppage time almost up. Australia have got the draft excluder in place just in case they try the sneaky one underneath. A wall of 5 besides. It is Karen Darwich, and it forces a good save out of Matt Ryan. Comfortable height, it must be said, still there for the return delivery, and it's headed inches wide by Daniel Curry. Wow, they've had some good chances, Lebanon late on. That is the full-time whistle blowing as we watch the replay of Karim Darwich's free kick, which then led to that chance for Daniel Curry in the air. It's a decent save by Matt Ryan. And then Curry just couldn't angle his header goalwards. And Australia somehow escape with a clean sheet. 3 from 3 for the Socceroos. The perfect start thanks to Keanu Bacchus and Kai Rolls, 2 maiden strikes for the national team. They now look towards Canberra on Tuesday against the same opposition. And they have been warned this evening, particularly in the second half. And of course there will be sterner tests to come in Asian qualifying. But this one at least has been safely negotiated. Graham Arnold and Miodrag Radulovic deep in conversation. And that's the full-time scoreline. Australia 2, Lebanon 0.
So the Socceroos' winning run in the second round of World Cup qualifying continues. An early goal got the Aussies off to the perfect start, and the home side doubled the lead in the second half. Luke Wilkshire, Alex Frost both watched that one unfold, and Lukey, Lebanon did not go down without a fight, particularly in that second half. That was a real contest.
It was a contest, and look, full credit to Lebanon because I thought they were fantastic. They've come here, they definitely didn't throw the towel in, even 2-0 down. We saw them keep coming. They were unlucky probably not to get a goal in the end and maybe deserved to get something, but we got the job done.
The Aussies tried that two-pronged attack tonight, Broski, and they did, in the first half in particular, look more dangerous.
It definitely did. In the first half, we showed a lot more. There was a bit more energy going forward, a bit more in our attack than what we've seen recently. And look, I liked it. You know, I thought there were a couple of times, just some poor touches by either Tags or Yengi stopped us from creating a chance, so we probably didn't show the amount of chances and shots on target that we probably could have had. But overall, a lot better going forward. But in that second half, well, that'll give Lebanon a lot of optimism heading into Tuesday. I think the bravery they sort of showed in that second half, if they start that way and go at us a little bit more, they can potentially feel like they can get something out of this game.
Let's get some reaction now with Daniel Garb.
Connor, thanks for joining us. We'll get on to the performance in a moment, but the result, 2-0 win, 3 more points en route to the next phase of qualifying. How satisfying is that?
Yeah, it's very satisfying. Obviously, the most important thing is a win and a clean sheet. But yeah, I think we can do a lot better. Too sloppy, too many easy mistakes. But yet again, very happy with the win.
Different formation tonight, 2 up front. How do you feel the team adapted to that?
Yeah, I think very well. You know, obviously we had to adapt to the way they play, and Arnie thought the best was to play with 2 up front. And yeah, I think we're quite adaptable as players. And yeah, like I said, I think we did really well. But it's not easy switching from system to system, if you know what I mean.
Couple of major positives. Debut Socceroos goals for Keanu Bacchus and Kai Rolls. How will you celebrate that with them tonight?
Yeah, really happy for him. You know, Keanu's was, don't know if he meant it, but we'll take it. And yeah, I'm happy for Rollsy. He's my roommate, so he'll probably be non-stop talking about that tonight.
Thanks, Connor. Enjoy it.
Cheers.
As Connor Metcalf identified there, not regular goal scorers for the Socceroos, Broski, but they still count.
Saying that it's not easy to switch formations and the way they play. Look, I think that's part of football, right? You have to adjust, you have to adapt on the run. Sometimes within the same game, you might be playing, it's not working out, and you've got to come out in the second half a different formation. I don't like that as an excuse. I think, yes, we could have done a lot better in that second half, but the formation is what it is. I mean, they would have trained for it. They would have done their homework on Lebanon, on their strengths, their weaknesses, and looked to exploit that, which in the first half they were doing. In the second half, it just didn't pan out that way.
And I think, the way Lebanon and the early goal obviously changed the way things were. There was plenty of space. There was opportunities there.
Yeah.
We didn't really create enough in terms of goal-scoring opportunities. Clear-cut, yes, we had a few shots from distance, but there wasn't that many clear-cut opportunities, which would be disappointing. But yeah, like Broski said there, a very interesting comment that it was a bit difficult for him adapting to the change of formation.
Change to a 4-4-2 tonight. We'll break that down and we'll get more reaction from the players and the boss, Graham Arnold. That's all coming up for you on the other side of this break. But it is the Socceroos ultimately celebrating a 2-0 victory over Lebanon. Over 27,000 fans at Combank Stadium tonight to see the Socceroos continue their winning run in the second round of World Cup qualification. Jackson Irvine there, Matty Ryan in amongst the fans after a 2-0 victory over Lebanon this evening. Let's throw it right back to the start of this contest, because inside 5 minutes, gents, we had our opening goal. Are we calling this a cross gone wrong or a cross gone oh so right?
Oh, it's definitely a cross gone also right from Bacchus. Look, we win the ball high up here, and I think he's trying to find Yengi in the box here, and he's got it just right or wrong, how you might want to see it. He's going to probably claim it's a goal. He celebrated like he meant it, but I'm not too sure about that. But the perfect start, you know, we spoke about if you can get an early goal, and it was fantastic for the game because it really opened up the game. But yeah, that's going to be one for his highlight reel any which way.
A goal's a goal, doesn't matter how they come, and look, it got us off on the perfect start inside 5 minutes, and you're right, it did open the game up from there. Lebanon, to their credit, they came at us, they tried, they picked their moments and then tried to counter-attack